Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Boatwright. Our next senior is number 30, Jenna Tangiers. Jenna is joined by her parents Jackie and Charlie and her advisors Dr. Jamie Brooks and Dr. Christine Terry. The Bel Air, Maryland native is an Alpha Chi Omega VP of Intellectual Development, Westover Honors Fellow, and Publications Chair, Executive Board Member, a biology past leader, a biochemistry past leader, and a chemistry lab assistant. She's also on the National Honor Society of Leadership and Success. She's been on the Dean's List every semester, the President's List from fall to 2022 to spring 2023, and was named the Outstanding Female Student in the Sciences. After graduating with a degree in biomedical science and minors in physiology, biology, and chemistry, she plans to start the Genetic Counseling Master's Program. Ladies and gentlemen, number 30, Jenna Tangiers. Our final senior this afternoon is Caroline West. Caroline is joined by her parents, Jill and Rob. The Norwell, Massachusetts native is a VP Philanthropy for Alpha Chi Omega. She was on the Dean's List her freshman and junior year. After graduating with a degree in health promotion and minor in criminology forensics, she plans on attending an accelerated Bachelor of Science nursing school. Let's have one more final round of applause for the Lynchburg graduating senior class of 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, a reminder, the NCAA, the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, and University of Lynchburg ask all participants to promote good sportsmanship at all athletic events. Remember, a positive sporting environment starts with you.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
How fast the season goes by, how fast the years go by. It is senior day for the Lynchburg field hockey team. It is also the home finale, 2 games remaining on the 2023 regular season campaign for the 12th nationally ranked Hornets. But this will be the last chance to see them in the regular season on Schellenberger Field. Though, we'll unpack this a little bit more throughout the day. There's a very good chance we may see them once, twice, maybe 3 more times on this field before it's all said and done. But those 8 seniors, a couple of 5th years as well, team manager all being honored pregame today. A special moment for all of them. Certainly an emotional day, but also an electric day because in addition to senior day, in addition to it being the home finale, it's also homecoming. We've got a triple header today on LHS Cent, really a quadruple header. Swimming's going on as we speak. So, if field hockey is not really your jam, you're more of a swim, type person, hop on over, view our swimming broadcast. Kyle Haney heading things up over there at the Liberty Natatorium. And then we got women's soccer at 4. We got men's soccer Code Red at 7. I mean, what more can you ask for out of a Lynchburg sports day? I am Sam Graham, excited to bring you one final matchup on LHSN for the regular season. And, oh, man, what a season it has been. What a season it's been on Shelley, away from Shelley. Just one home loss so far this year for Lynchburg, 6-1 mark on Shelley. Lynchburg will certainly be looking to add to that mark today as they take on the visiting Royals from Eastern Mennonite. Pair of teams sitting at different spots in the conference standings. Eastern Mennonite comes into today with a 3-12 record, still looking for their first win in conference play. Lynchburg on the other side, all alone at the top. 6-0, an unblemished record in conference play, already taken down 4 of the top 5 teams in the ODAC preseason coaches poll. Of course, Lynchburg was the number 1 team in that poll. Can't beat themselves, although coaches at times may disagree. But we'll take a look at some of the stats coming into today as they announce starters down on the field. See Lynchburg now averaging over 4 goals a game. That's thanks in large part to a 14-goal eruption against Ferrum last time we were on this field, right about a week and a half ago. Lynchburg dominating shots. Shot percentage pretty even. That'll be key for Eastern Mennonite, but the shots per game certainly is going to have to rise today, or they're going to have to limit Lynchburg. One of the two things. Lynchburg dominates time of possession. They dominate shots taken in their games, and they're going to try to do the same today against a struggling Eastern Mennonite team. Also take a look at those corners. Lynchburg really doing a good job generating those set pieces across the back half of this season. We are going to take one break, step away for a few moments, and when we come back, we'll introduce you to our starters, a new look on the Lynchburg side of things for Senior Day today, and then we will get ready for game time between Lynchburg and Eastern Mennonite.
If you like being close with your professors, if you like being in small classes that help with one-on-one, if you like being in positive communities that help you train your weak points and strengthen your strong points, then the University of Lynchburg is a great place to go. You can never go wrong with the amount of help that they offer, the amount of self-sacrifice that other people will put in for you. It has a beautiful campus, it has dedicated teachers, it has nice students, it has fun activities, and it has plenty of things to do.
Never think that your donation is in vain because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me who need a shot and who are getting one. Without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund, there would be no student body president, Davion Washington. There'd probably be I'm stuck at home, Davion Washington. Not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day. and you do the same thing. I know for a fact that, when I have it, because I will, I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
It's not.
How you feeling? Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican.
45 years for head coach Enza Steele, and didn't recognize her pregame, but essentially senior day today for her as well. Could be the final time, though likely not the final time she will coach on this field, but certainly we remember a legendary career from her as well today, as well, of course, as those fantastic seniors that will be playing on this field today. And let's take a look at some of those starters. We will start on the Eastern Mennonite side, taking a look at who the Royals are going to roll out. Keep a special look on Haley Collins and Kate Landis, the two of them combining for 20 of EMU's points coming into the year. They will certainly be big factors on the attacking side, though we're 24 and 27. And then in goal today, it'll be Grayson Aruda comes into today with 148 saves, 75.5 save percentage, and 3.4 roughly goals against average. Now take a look at the Lynchburg side, and it's a little bit different today. Seniors getting their starts today. A couple fifth years as well, and Kessa Schaefer and Sydney Metz. Shout out Sydney Metz, a fantastic student worker for LHS Sen. She and Schaefer getting sort of their second senior day here today. They are not officially honored pregame, but will be playing their final regular season home games on this field. Also take a look at the other seniors: Kayla Brady, Riley Cameron, Marina Nadwadney, Brooke Highland, Erin Boatwright, and Jenna Tangiers. Brady, of course, will start in goal. She's continuing a career type of season, coming off of a big 3-game stretch, 22 saves across the past 3 games for Brady, the most of any 3-game stretch for her since roughly the mid-October, early October portion of last year's season, the most she's faced over that span all year. This year, we'll see how much she has tested today. We are off. EMU, the visitors, wearing the lighter, we'll call it light gray. Could be white, sun playing some tricks here. Big crowd on hand as Lynchburg opens up in the black jerseys today. They do take over possession, though it is in their own defending half. EMU awarded first possession. Coming up to challenge for that one was Erin Boatwright. It's Kanye Mazizi, reigning ODAC Player of the Week, that takes it away instead. Mazizi is dazzled really from day one with this program, as Boatwright will send in the first shot of the day. Didn't have a lot of heat to it, no matter. Erin Boatwright puts Lynchburg on the board first. And some things just work out that way, don't they? Senior day, the senior defender turned offensive player has the first goal of the day. Lynchburg leads it 1-0. 7th goal of the year for Erin Boatwright, a career high. It's her 21st point of the season. Multi-time all-conference level defender. Spoke to her after just a couple games into the year when it was clear, she wasn't playing on the defensive side. She said, talked with Coach Steele before the season. She said, we're going to do something a little different this year. We're going to put you on the offensive side. Coach Steele felt like the depth would take care of itself on defense, and that's certainly true. A lot of depth on that defensive side, but maybe more than that is the stability they get out of the starting 3 that they roll out back there, particularly in Olivia Muir and Riley Cameron. But Boatwright said, I've never really played offense, but got off to a heck of a start. Slightly slower start to the year for Marlu Vendricks. Through those first couple games, she's picked it up as of late, but Erin Boatwright really carrying a lot of the load offensively through those first couple games. and doing it in style. She gets goal number 7 here today. I mentioned a big crowd on hand as Lynchburg will reset back here. Might not see it necessarily on the track. A lot of the crowd is behind me and to the sides and below me in the stands. From up here in the press box. Deep shot sent in. That might have been outside of the circle. Doesn't matter. Doesn't find its home. And I'll send it back over to Eastern Mennonite. We've played about 2.5 minutes here today. Lynchburg comes into this one following 3-game road test. Had that 14-0 win over Ferrum. Biggest offensive output of the year is Boatwright looking for goal number 2. Gives 2 cracks at it. Comes up short. Sends it back to the Royals. Lynchburg 2-1 over that road stretch. Actually suffered their first loss of the year away from Schellenberger Field. I mean, very tough stretch. They had Keene and Swarthmore back-to-back days on Saturday and Sunday. Boatwright in close. Diving on the ground is Aruda. This time gets that ball out of harm's way. Yeah, Lynchburg splitting that 2-game stretch between Keene and Swarthmore, a pair of nationally ranked opponents. Both of those games went to overtime. Never easy to go into that extra period when you're on the road. Keene especially, a top 15 team in the country. They got the best of Lynchburg by 1 goal, and then Lynchburg got right a day after. It was the first years, we're honoring the seniors today, but it's the first years in that one that got things going offensively. More on that in a moment. It's driving inside Kessa Schaefer, but she's whistled for the foul, gives it back over to EMU. Near side, that is one of those 2 players we highlighted in the pregame. It's Kate Landis. She works it ahead to teammate Zafia Maldonado. Maldonado and her sister both on this squad, Ashley Maldonado. Probably call each of their names a decent bit today. They've both appeared in every game so far this season. Tangiers wraps around, tries to fire one in there. Might have had a piece of it. Taking some of the heat off. Rebound goes to Sydney Metz. Now back to Tangiers. Save made by Aruda. Back to Aruda, trying to cover it up. Coming in close now, swooping in at the last moment. I believe a foul goes against. May have been a goal awarded, actually. Looked at first as though it might have been a whistle and a foul. We might actually have a goal instead. We're going to have to turn to the replay monitor to take another look at that one. We got high fives all around on the Lynchburg sideline. That's usually a good indicator of goal. Not necessarily an eruption of cheers, but there were a lot of Hornets in there. Take a look at it again. Yeah, looks like, keep an eye on Boatwright. Yeah, it's Boatwright. 2 goals to kick off the day today. Goals number 7 and 8 on the year. Shout out to Sam Rice on replay there. Another great look at that goal. I like to say that don't have to turn to the replay monitor as much, but, still learning. It's a fast-paced game, and sometimes it's hard to see just who got their stick in their last to ultimately power these goals in. That time it is Aaron Boatwright. Pair of goals to get Lynchburg off and running. We're only about 5 minutes gone by in this contest. Lynchburg's done a fantastic job protecting home field this year, 7-1 on Schellenberger Field. Shelley's been kind to all the fall sports that play on it. I'm sure men's and women's lacrosse, who both played a pair of scrimmages this morning, are hoping that continues all year long. Tangiers driving inside. Nobody marked her up. I believe she awards Lynchburg its first penalty corner of the day. We'll see if it is Boatwright who takes it. It will be. It's awesome to see, too, that the seniors getting the start today. It wasn't necessarily just a ceremonial start. Obviously, a few of them are not regular starters, but it wasn't just go in and then immediately come back out. Coming out here, and see Boatwright so far making the most of it with 2 goals. She is a regular starter. Shot all the way in from the back of the semicircle from Brooke Highland. That was a beauty. Just got knocked down, and then Boatwright, sort of surprised, just about had a hat trick fall into her lap. Instead, the penalty corner resets. Number 2 on the day. Boatwright once again will insert. They go right back to Highland again. Highland going to line up just inside the semicircle. Another good-looking shot. This time it's kicked away by Aruda. EMU gets out of harm's way, at least from a penalty corner standpoint. The set piece is over, but Lynchburg will maintain possession at the blue line. Zizzy works backward to move forward. It's Riley Cameron lining one up. Goes past a pair of EMU sticks. Now it's Mazizzi. Hold your hats. Lines up a shot. Mazizzi finds the back of the cage. Running to her right, she shoots across her body. Kanye Mazizzi, the reigning ODAC Player of the Week. She stays hot. Kanye Mazizzi, mentioned, dazzled from day one. One of those players that Coach Steele lights up talking about. You could see the talent. The goals took a little bit to start coming, and now the floodgates have opened. And when I say hold your hats, I mean it could be a spin cycle. It could be a hesitation move. I mean, she's got every trick in the book, and she can pull them all out. There, just a well-placed shot, shooting across her body. Not everybody can do that. Not only did she shoot it across her body, I mean, had some heat on it as well. Kanye Mazizzi has quickly turned into a top 2 or 3 offensive piece in just her first year on this Lynchburg team. Zimbabwe native. Lynchburg coming in looking for goal number 4, but before it goes into the back of the cage, foul whistled against the home team. So halfway through this first quarter of action, and EMU immediately in the hole, 3 goals. Came into today averaging just a little north of 3 goals per game allowed. Lynchburg trying to change that. Lynchburg in its past 3 games, that road stretch. Don't want to say the identity shifted. That's really not what happened. Lynchburg still getting off a lot of goals, still getting off a lot of penalty corners, still dominating time of possession for the most part. Keene, a slight exception to that, but sort of departing from their identity in the sense of this has been a team, one of the fastest starting teams, not only in the ODAC but in the country on the year. Over 30 first half goals, 38 to be exact. They've been scored on in the first half just 4 times. But on that 3-game stretch, Lynchburg, these are the first half goals Lynchburg has scored since that last home game against Ferrum. Keene, Swarthmore, and Roanoke all held them without a goal in the first half. Lynchburg gave up 2. That ball came in from way downtown. Jenna Tangiers trying to run it down. Maybe poked that one in as Aruda stepped out of the goal. Instead, EMU takes possession right back. But despite, getting down early in some of those games, Roanoke went up, scored the first goal in that game in the 4th minute. You do learn something about your team. If you're Coach Steele, talk about resiliency. Lynchburg went into the 4th quarter in several of those games tied or trailing, and on 2 occasions, after entering the second half behind, came out with the win. Roanoke led 1-0. Had Lynchburg firmly on upset alert, and then 3 unanswered goals in the second half, including 1 in the first minute of the second half from Marlu Vendricks. Took Lynchburg to victory. And then I mentioned briefly earlier the first years getting things done against Swarthmore. Renee Fontiel got Lynchburg its first goal in the 4th quarter, midway through the 4th. Was when Lynchburg finally got on the board in that game, trailing 1-0. Fontiel tied it up. And then Kanya Mazizi, the game winner in overtime. That's not the only reason she's the reigning ODAC Player of the Week, but it's one of them. Big week for her and a 2-1 week for her team. She's got a goal today. Boatwright the other two. Trying to dribble out of trouble, and you see the double team coming for Mazizi. Not necessarily an unknown commodity at this point for this Lynchburg team. 16 games worth of film. Cameron with a little bit of space to work with. Missiles one inside. EMU trying to force it out. Instead, Aaron Boatwright with the hat trick. First hat trick of the year goes to Aaron Boatwright. Something special in the water on senior day. Boatwright making it happen all day long. We've had 2-goal games galore throughout this year, including several occasions where multiple players have had 2 goals in the same game, but we have yet to see a hat trick. We've seen one, and we haven't even played a full quarter today. Now discussion, EMU trying to get some subs into the game. Officials trying to straighten things out. Take a look there at Zafia Maldonado. Zafia playing in the forefield. Sophomore attacker Ashley, her older sister. Senior midfielder, the two of them out of Warrenton, Virginia. Both went to Fauquier High School. Large Virginia presence on this EMU team. Some Pennsylvania in there, D.C., and in Aberdeen, Maryland, but by and large, the Commonwealth presenting the largest bevy of talent on this EMU team. Sydney Metz trying to corral that one as Lynchburg has dominated time of possession in this first quarter. Not only do they have that 4-0 lead on the scoreboard, they also have an 11-0 shot advantage. This is the second most goals Lynchburg has scored in the first quarter this year. Scored 6 in a fast start against Ferrum. Mazizi lines up another one just inside the circle. Chasing it down off the rebound is Schaefer near side. Schaefer surveys, tries to cross over to her right. Instead, a foul goes. Good defense given, believe that's Libby Durstein for EMU. Junior defender out of Harleysville, PA. Quickly goes back over, though, to Lynchburg. It's Kessa Schaefer with it. No substitutions yet for Lynchburg. Still riding with this largely senior group on the field. 8 seniors and 5th years, 6 seniors, 2 5th years to be exact, getting the start today. And then Mazizi, Muir, and Fontiel, the other 3. Brady has not been tested yet. She's hanging out back there in her own goal, a goal she has protected so well over a 4-year career here. We'll highlight an achievement for her. Recorded her 250th career save during midweek action against Roanoke. 7 saves in that game, all in the fourth quarter. She protected that Lynchburg lead, ultimately a 3-1 Lynchburg win. Those 250 saves have her 9th on the all-time leaderboard, 9 saves away from number 8. Aaron Boatwright being honored pre-game today. Her older sister, Alex, a former goalie here for Lynchburg. Fantastic goalie at that. Of course, Laurel Nix, another one in recent memory that comes to mind. Lynchburg, it's just been talented goalie after talented goalkeeper, maintaining the back of the field for Enza Steele's team. Next year it'll be Jenny Relaford at the helm, and likely Shy Scoons will be the new goalkeeper 1, if you will. Jenna Tangiers trying to run that one down just out of reach. across the near sideline, turns it back over to Eastern Mennonite. 32 seconds on the clock in the first quarter. That one sent sky high. Fantastic film, by the way. Kessa Schaefer takes back over, crosses over one defender, then another. Now some space to work in the middle of the field. EMU backline defense. Schaefer works the opposite side of him. They forgot to cover the left side of the goal. Schaefer makes them pay. 5-0 Lynchburg lead. 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. And now Kessa Schaefer's on the board for the Hornets. Take a look at it again. We'll see if you can see the defensive set here by Eastern Mennonite. There were two more defenders rushing in at the last moment. They're just a little bit late. Great shot placement by the fifth-year Schaefer to just put it out of reach of everybody. That's two across-body shots that Lynchburg's turned into goals today. Mazizi had one as well, and they're taking advantage of that left side of the goal. And now, mercifully, this first quarter comes to an end. A 5-0 Lynchburg advantage. They are all over the Royals early on.
Living the dream.
USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
Attention fans, please turn your attention to the third floor balcony of Westover Hall, where you will see President Emeritus Dr. Kenneth R. Garen, our 10th president of the University of Lynchburg, and his wife, Sheila. They are in attendance today as we dedicate the plaque and naming in honor of Dr. Garen's service to the University of Lynchburg. As of 1 p.m. today, the plaza at Westover Hall is now Garen Plaza. Please join us in celebrating this honor and welcome the Garens back to campus during homecoming and parents and family weekend festivities. Thank you for your service to the university.
Super loud. Special moment there between the first and second quarters. President Garen, 10th president here of the University of Lynchburg. Very deserved plaque dedication there, the new Garen Plaza in Westover Hall. He and his wife here for that dedication. And current president Allison Morrison Shetler as well. Now back to field hockey where Lynchburg protects a 5-0 advantage. Eastern Mennonite with the ball first. Bouncing on that near sideline is Sophia Armato. Now taking it back. We got some fresh faces into the game for Lynchburg. Let's see if we can just go right off site. Allie Freeman, Sarah Prinz, Riley Weinfordner, Megan Stifler, Danielle Kuhn, Mallory Lamb, Micah Uchis, Anna Dorestein, and Marlou Vendrix and Olivia Van Meter. Not to be forgotten, it is still Brady in goal. See if we see Shai Skuns. Actually, probably more than likely be Samira Garavi. Skuns still not back dressed, not fully healthy again yet, so likely will be Garavi if we see another goalkeeper throughout the day. We'll see if Eastern Mennonite can put some pressure on the Lynchburg side of things here in this second quarter, but it was all Lynchburg in the first. Their 5 goals, the most of any first quarter, any quarter at all this season, save a 6-goal performance in the opening frame against Ferrum. Marlou Vendrix into the game, puts the first shot on the board of this second quarter. And Marlou either assists twice or scores 1 goal today, She will have reached 75 career points in just 38 games. Now, we don't officially have a stats and info department here. Try to pretend that we do sometimes. We do the absolute best we can, which I'd say is pretty good, but can't say whether or not that's the fastest player to 75 points. I'd imagine it's in the top 5 or so. Vendricks in her second year with the program has been electric each and every time out. She's averaging right about 2 points per game. That is 1 goal per game in layman's terms. And Lynchburg going to get a penalty corner here. We'll see if they go the way of number 19, Marlu Vendricks. It'll be Riley Weinfordner to insert. Junior scored her second career goal against Roanoke the other day. And technically the game winner for Weinfordner as well. She's got 2 game winners on the year. Scored the lone goal of the year as it is Vendricks who takes the shot. A lot of Hornets in close. Put a pause on that last thought and see what happens in here close to the goal. It will go back over to EMU and we'll continue what we were talking about here just a moment ago. Yeah, Weinfordner, the lone goal in a 1-0 win over Mary Washington earlier in the year. You won't find much stranger way to get on the board than she did in that one. Also a penalty corner, which she inserted. That was the same case in Roanoke. It was a penalty corner that sort of got extended. On the rebound, second shot of that extended corner, she found the back of the cage. But that first goal, those of you that may remember, she inserted it in. Marlu Vendricks took the shot. We initially gave the goal to Vendricks, and then upon further review, as they would say in the NFL, realized, oh no, it was actually Weinfordner standing next to the goal, right on the doorstep, as they say, that tapped it in for the goal. So a pair of game-winning goals on the year for number 5. Fantastic reserve in defense for Enza Steele's squad. EMU is going to take over on the right half of the field. They've yet to put an official shot on frame or record an official shot at all. We just haven't spent a whole lot of time on this side of the field so far. Lynchburg, like a pack of Hornets, they'll swarm you and make life difficult. And they'll do that to really anybody that lines up on the schedule. It's just kind of been what we've come to expect. Dortestein moving towards the goal, places a shot. We won't say on frame. It wasn't far off. They will draw another penalty corner for Lynchburg. Those are starting to stack up as well. 17 of the game shots, all taken by Lynchburg. Lynchburg taking better than 70% of the total shots in their games this season as Weinfordner runs back to retrieve the ball. It's inserted by Weinfordner, mishandled by Vendricks. Sent into the circle by Freeman. Leaping up, trying to knock it down was Aruda. It's still held by Lynchburg. Vendricks puts a shot in. Stopped again, might have been defensive save. Now Micah Uchis is in there trying to force the ball in. And somehow Eastern Mennonite gets away unscathed. Lynchburg several bites at the apple. EMU still unable to clear, so we'll reset with another penalty corner for the Hornets. Protect a 5-0 lead. Take a look at it again. Inserted into the circle by Freeman, knocking it out of the air, but just missing. Believe that was Mika Uchis. We'll reset. Slap shot off the mark. Near side, Weinfordner trying to go back and collect it is Uchis. Save made by Aruda. Running back to retrieve it is Allie Freeman. Freeman works near side, run down by Kuhn. Kuhn sort of there in the corner trying to get out of trouble. Double team proves effective. Initially forces the turnover. Now a nifty move on the side. Near side, that is EMU. It's Elizabeth Longacre trying to get EMU's back off the wall. Megan Stifler now running down, sophomore defensive player. And that's a little bit of excitement. It's rifled back into the front of the field. Olivia Van Meter, the closest Hornet to it. Riley Weinfordner's strike, but instead, at the end of it all, it rolls out of bounds, and it'll be Lynchburg ball. I believe that's Mallory Lamb, and it is. To reset for Lynchburg. That pass out in front of Marlou Vendricks. Vendricks accidentally kicks it. Now EMU ball, they'll advance it up. Number 17, Cassidy Armstrong, senior defender, turns it back over to Lynchburg. And we pinball back and forth. Freeman trying to insert again. It's Marlou Vendricks, a scooping shot just a little too high. Trying to catch the netting of the goal. There, take a look at Vendricks. 17 goals her freshman campaign, 14 this year. Led the team in 2022, leading the team in 2023. Also leading the ODAC. Certainly on her way to another first-team All-ODAC selection, if I had to imagine. Leads the conference in goals, assists, points, shots. List goes on and on. Shot from distance. Off the mark near side from Uchis. She's getting in on the action today. Does have a goal on the year. Go along with 4 assists. And again, the high insert from Eastern Mennonite. It's kind of corralled easily by Anna Dorestein. Foul goes against EMU. Reset for Lynchburg with Allie Freeman. Crosses over to her left. Works it ahead to Uchis. Inside now. Dorestein scooping across. Save made initially by Aruda. Now she does a 360 looking to track it down. And a foul again goes against EMU, and this time it'll warrant another penalty corner for Lynchburg. So the game plan's been the same. A lot of the, I guess, setup, if you will, has been the same, looking from the first quarter and now moving into the second. The result, not necessarily the same, as Lynchburg's still looking for its first goal in the second quarter, but still been turning our necks to the left side for the majority of the second period. That shot from distance would not have counted outside of the circle for Anna Dorestein. That's going to be hard to corral by anybody. I'll tell you what, Lynchburg got some ladies on this roster that can put some fire behind some shots. Dorestein works again, this time off to the far side. Dorestein, a trio of goals on the year, 7 points in total, a pair of game winners. And the Week 5 ODAC Player of the Week. 5 different Hornets have been named Player of the Week in the conference. Only 7 of those awards have been given out so far. This is Week 8. So to say that award has been controlled by Lynchburg probably be an understatement, but more so than that is the diversity of names. I mean, Erin Boatwright was the first, but we've seen Anna Dorestein, Kanye Mazizi, Marlou Vendricks, Olivia Van Meter. They've all been named to that honor so far this season. It's not any one person on this Lynchburg team, and there's a whole host of other players who may be deserving of it. Might not necessarily be racking up stats. But you look at Mallory Lamb, Olivia Muir, and Riley Cameron, typical starters in the backfield for Lynchburg. They've all had fantastic seasons and a great defensive season overall for Lynchburg. Still averaging a good bit under a goal per game coming into today. Holding a blank sheet so far today as well. We go in close again. It's Madison Mark trying to turn and fire. Shot just wasn't there. Lynchburg will reset with Freeman. Freeman got the start in the first, pretty much the entire first half of the season. Has transitioned to still a very big role coming off the bench here the second half of the year. And some of those starting spots, we had really the same group through the first 7, 8, 9 roughly games. It started to shift a little bit as of late. Still the same group for the most part. Obviously, Kayla Brady has started every game in goal. Erin Boatwright, Kanye Mazizi. I mean, we've had the mainstays, Riley Cameron, Olivia Muir, but Enza Steele not afraid to ride the hot hand, certainly to be commended. Again, a penalty corner goes straight to Marlou Vendricks, and Aruda has done a good job against Vendricks so far today. Obviously, Erin Boatwright, the first quarter hat trick. She had things going on, but Marlou Vendricks has had some solid opportunities to score. Aruda's just been the brick wall in the way. Swings back to Vendricks again as EMU again unable to get out of their own defending half. This time it's Mallory Lamb that takes it away. She sends it inside. Probably going to be a Lynchburg goal here. Who's it going to be scored by? Instead, a foul. Or do they say goal? Did not look like the goal signal from the official, but I assume we had a goal, so we'll try to take a look at the replay.
Scored by number 28, Madison.
They're going to give it to number 28, Madison Mark. A scrum in there. Yeah, ball does go across. It looked as though it was only one hand from the official just signaling a change in possession. Maybe I was seeing things, but obviously that was a goal, so number 28, Madison Mark, gets on the board, and Lynchburg has its first goal in the second quarter. We were doing pretty well, 80% on getting those goals right on the moment. Now we're 4 for 6. 66.7, not a terrible shooting percentage. Depends on what sport you're playing, though. Megan Stifler will reinsert for Lynchburg. Seen her a decent bit more as of late. Lynchburg looking for a 7-0 start to conference play. It's Kuhn on the near side. No look shot, maybe between her legs on the attempt from Marlou Vendricks. But again, it is stopped by the Eastern Mennonite defense. She's done a really good job standing tall here in this second quarter. Lynchburg's put another 8 shots up on the board. EMU's already up to 9 saves on the day. We'll check the stats at the half. Might be a defensive save or 2 in there as well. But the Lynchburg attack is unrelenting. We really probably don't need to waste much more breath on that. Sort of the first thing you notice watching them play. I mean, the best defense is a good offense in this case. Kayla Brady tested less than virtually any other goalkeeper in the conference. Pretty much ranks second in most categories, statistically speaking, behind Shenandoah's Taylor Swan. That'll be an interesting debate. Who gets the first team all-conference nod? It's that time in the season now. We can start to think about some of those things. As the ODAC tournament approaches, kicking that ball away, or trying to at least, was Aruda. Does not clear it for EMU, though, so we'll get another penalty corner for Lynchburg. Lynchburg, good job on the year drawing out these corners, stacking one on top of the other, sometimes 2 and 3 in a row. Just goes back to putting that pressure on your opponent. Another scoop shot from Vendricks is too high for the goal again. Sort of a tough quarter here for Marlou. Good shooters continue to shoot, and rest assured, if you let Vendricks get off too many good shots, they will start to go in. I promise you that. Mentioned earlier in the broadcast, a slower start to the year for Vendricks. The leading scorer on the team for a good portion was Erin Boatwright. And all of a sudden you look up, Marlou Vendricks gone on I believe it got up to a 10 or 11 game point streak. Eastern Mennonite just about created its best opportunity of the day. Breaking on that ball was Eve Detter. You talk about two-way players a lot. Detter, a three-way player, attack, midfield, defense. She can do it all. That's what they would call in the recruiting rankings just an athlete. First year out of Landisville, Pennsylvania. Hempville High School product. It's always good to have at least one or two of those types of players on your roster. Just the do-it-all player that can give you whatever you need on any given day. Now it's Lynchburg's Kuhn on the near side. On her back is Kaylin Azuna, turning to her right, firing a pass inside for Vendricks. Foul against Vendricks, given back over to Eastern Mennonite with about 90 seconds to go in the first half. Eastern Mennonite trying to stand tall, continue to stand tall defensively, 14 saves on the day. I mean, you look at that, the save percentage is still fantastic, 14 out of 20, 70%. Certainly, typically would keep you in games, but obviously it's a stat nobody really talks that much about. Shots faced sometimes matters more than number of saves. How clean can your defense keep you as a goalkeeper? That's what Lynchburg's done so well for Kayla Brady. Only 56 saves on the year. You might look at that number and say, man, she's not on pace really to even come close to what she's done the last 2 years. 90 saves last year, over 100 the year before that. But I think if you go up to Coach Karen Mann or you ask Coach Steele, they might be pretty happy that she's only got 56 saves through the first 16 games. Now 16 and a half in 31 seconds. Lynchburg going to get another penalty corner out of this. We've crept now over 10 for the day. Lynchburg just doing its thing. Again, as I said a moment ago, trying to get to 7-0 in conference play. This is a significant game for ODAC tournament implications. Lynchburg's in to the 6-team field. Have not officially clinched a bye just yet, but a win today, and with losses from Shenandoah, who's on the road at Roanoke, and a loss by Bridgewater, things could get interesting. Lynchburg technically, if my math is correct, could clinch the top overall seed in the regular season championship with 2 games to go, but no matter what, with another pair of wins, of course after this, 2 more games on the road as we get to the end of the first half against Sweetbriar and Bridgewater. Another win in one of those 2 games would do it as well. And of course, the goal certainly to win out a 9-0 finish to conference play. Not too far away now, 3 more wins, and they're halfway to getting win number 7. It's a 6-0 Lynchburg advantage through the first 30 minutes. We'll step aside for a moment and return shortly with stats and numbers from that first half.
If you like being close with your professors, if you like being in small classes that help with one-on-one, if you like being in positive communities that help you train your weak points and strengthen your strong points, then the University of Lynchburg is a great place to go. You can never go wrong with the amount of help that they offer, the amount of self-sacrifice that other people will put in for you. It has a beautiful campus, it has dedicated teachers, it has nice students, it has fun activities, and it has plenty of things to do.
Never think that your donation is in vain, because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me, who need a shot and who are getting one without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund, there would be no student body president, Davion Washington. There'd probably be I'm stuck at home, Davion Washington. Not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day and do the same thing. I know for a fact that, when I have it, because I will, I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
It's not.
How you feeling? Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
All right, we got to make a correction to one of the scores. All right, Kanye Mzizi fires one in here. We gave the goal to Mzizi, but we'll rewind and look at it again. Mzizi fires one in there. Look at Sydney Metz, number 17, stick outreached. So it was reset and given to Sydney Metz. Awesome moment for Metz. The fifth year decided to come back, her and Schaefer. An emotional sort of conversation between them and head coach Enza Steele. She called them and let them know, hey, this is going to be it. Year 45, the last ride. Two of them saying, all right, well, we'll come back and be there with you for it. Sydney Metz gets on the board in the first half. 6 goals in total for Lynchburg and a hat trick for Aaron Boatwright to lead the way. We'll take a look at some of the numbers from that first half. It was dominated by Lynchburg. It's not one of those cases where the score is misleading. That can happen, but no, in really all aspects of the game, it has been all Lynchburg today. 32 shots. Eastern Mennonite still looking for their first of the day. 10 penalty corners to none for Lynchburg as well, continuing to generate those set pieces. Lynchburg, 10 shots over average through the first half, and 1 penalty corner over average as well. The saves, Aruda in goal, we want to commend her job so far. I know it's easy to look at the scoreboard and say, wow, they're down 6-0. What's the defense doing? Well, Aruda in goal has been pretty good. You stopped 15 of the 21 shots you've seen. If that happens over the course of 2-3 games, well, then you're kind of looking at what Kayla Brady's been doing in goal for Lynchburg this year. It's just when those shots pile up, there's only so much you can do as the one person in goal. We got about 3 minutes until the second half gets underway. We'll step aside and be back in just a few short moments for the second half of EMU and Lynchburg.
I am a first-generation college student. I I applied to 16 universities, and I actually had decided on going to a different university, but doing FAFSA and everything on my own, and the a need for a good credit with the Parent Plus loan and everything like that. My plans kind of fell through. I just couldn't give up hope. And so I'm wrestling through this like shoebox I have full of like acceptance letters and financial aid letters. And I got my financial aid reward letter, and I also received scholarships from the school, and it was, the most affordable for me. They were excited to work with me. Financial aid really helped me out a lot with getting that situated. And I've just considered it a blessing ever since to go from 1 week not knowing whether or not I had to stay home for a year, and then the next week, knowing that this is where I'm going. It was meant to be, and obviously I consider this place my home, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Never think that your donation is in vain, because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me, who need a shot and who are getting one without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund. There would be no student body president, Davion Washington. There'd probably be I'm stuck at home, Davion Washington. And so there's a lot to be thankful for, and it's definitely the people that donate. And like I said, not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day and do the same thing. I know for a fact that, when I have it, because I will, I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
Welcome back inside the press box. Second half coming up between EMU and Lynchburg ODAC field hockey action. Lynchburg, the 6-0 lead, looking for win number 7 in the conference column. Lynchburg sitting alone atop the conference standings. Shenandoah, the closest. Lynchburg already owns the head-to-head, so if Lynchburg wins today, the worst they can finish is 7-2. Shenandoah falls at Roanoke. And Roanoke, a team that just gave Lynchburg a little bit of trouble in the first half. Really, that game was by no means over until late in the fourth quarter. Roanoke can certainly hang with anybody in the conference as well. So you never know. Shenandoah ranked 16th in the country. Certainly a fantastic squad. But if they were to fall, and if Bridgewater were to fall, it would be Lynchburg's for the taking. But again, as we said going into the break, if you're Coach Steele, that's not really the messaging. It's let's go ahead and win all of them. Let's go 9-0, leave no doubt. And then, of course, even more important, as any coach will tell you, Coach Katoka especially, there's a reason why a lot of the Lynchburg coaches and, their email signatures on their, coaching pages online, they don't really refer to the regular season championships. It's the ODAC Conference Tournament Championships. That's what determines the champion at the end of the day. Coach Steele's got a whole lot of them. Looking to add one more in year 45. We haven't mentioned this yet either, but would be the 27th 15-win season for Coach Steele with a win today. Hornets would improve to 15-2 if this score holds. Right now near side, Nina Hartman fires inside, Looks like going to Madison Mark, looking for her second goal on the ground, looking for it. Sydney Rowe was in there as well. They sneak it past Aruda. Lynchburg strikes again. Let's say Sydney Rowe at first with an assist to Madison Mark. We'll see if we can confirm that on the replay. If it was Rowe, her first goal of the season. A great freshman campaign for Rowe. She's been in and out of the lineup, had some injury concerns early in the year. We will take another look at it here in just a moment. See, Hartman drives it in, initially goes to Mark, and then Rowe battling back to Mark. Yep, that is going to be Sydney Rowe. First goal of the season. Not sure if it'll be officially an assist from Mark. Had some EMU defenders in there as well, but we are sure about goal number 1 for Lynchburg, number 8. And it's a 7-0 Hornet lead early in this second half.
Correction on the goal, scored by number 7, Sydney Rowe. Assist to number 28, Madison Mark.
Well, public address announcer today, Tim LaDuca, says assist to Madison Mark. Good with me. That means a 3-point day for Madison Mark. Another player on this Lynchburg team that's sort of been in and out of the lineup this year. EMU now threatening on Samir Garavi into goal. Now Megan Stifler, how about that? Swooping in there. Garavi got drawn out of the goal. She was on the ground. Stifler runs in there and breaks it up. Gets Lynchburg out of trouble. Foul against EMU officially ends the possession. Take a look there at Garavi with Stifler there in the bottom of your screen. She has it again as EMU tries to put a little pressure on the Lynchburg side of things. Pass ahead looking for Delaney Porter. Freshman out of Clayton, Delaware, making her 5th appearance of the year. Talked about athletes earlier. Delaney Porter, a 3-sport athlete in high school. Between her and Kanye Mazizi, this freshman class well represented on and off the field hockey field. A 6-sport athlete was Kanye Mazizi. These Lynchburg coaches like to look for athletes, well-rounded athletes that is, rather than necessarily the specialists. Now, it's always good to have a healthy mix. Certainly a lot to be said and studies to back it up that getting athletes on your team that have experience just in team sports in general translates pretty well to the college world of athletics. Now we'll insert our first penalty corner of the second half. It'll come into Aurora Balsamo. What a shot from Balsamo. Lasers one in. Didn't even have to think about it. A rocket right off of the insert. And Aurora Balsamo getting things done the last 2 games on this home field. 2 goals against Ferrum. She's on the board with goal number 8 of the day for Lynchburg here today against EMU. Time and time again, we've said everybody eats on this Lynchburg offense. That perhaps, we've seen a lot of good goals today and certainly throughout the year. That was a good-looking goal from number 13 in black. The assist will go to Claire Baker, her first of the year. She was the penalty corner inserter there. Another luxury for this Lynchburg team. A number of players who have the ability to fill that role. Aaron Boatwright takes the majority of them, but we've seen Danny Kuhn do it a lot. Riley Weinfordner. Now Claire Baker, the insert and the assist there. It's Baker with it right now. Turns, gives off. That's Lauren Mark into the game as well. Wearing number 24, Lauren and Madison, sisters on the Lynchburg side of things. Mentioned the sisters Maldonados for EMU. Lynchburg certainly got their own set of familiar relationships. A lot of families in the house today. Great crowd on hand. Certainly will be a great crowd on hand all day long today. Homecoming festivities. We'll reiterate, this is the first of a triple header on Shelley today. Both soccer teams will be on LHSN at 4 and 7. Women first, men the nightcap. There'll be events going on all day long around campus. Special time of year as fall is in full swing. Lynchburg trying to corral that in close. Looks like another goal scored for the Hornets. Sydney Rowe was in there. Lauren Mark was in there. If it's Lauren Mark, we're going to take a second.
Lynchburg, scored by number 24, Lauren.
Mr. LaDuca gives it to number 24, Lauren Mark. I would tend to agree. We'll take a look at the replay now. Wow, what a goal. I mean, making that angle happen. Maybe a little spin on the ball. Lauren Mark might be a pretty good pool player as well. Did not look like she had the space to get that ball into the goal. Instead, she makes it happen. That's goal number 4 on the year for Lauren Mark. This is only her 9th appearance. So almost a point per game average for the first year out of Mechanicsburg, Virginia, and the younger sister of Lynchburg midfielder Madison Mark.
Assisting on the play, number 8, Sydney Rowe.
Sydney Rowe granted the assist, so a 3-point day for her as well. And now Lynchburg can breathe a little easier out with a 9-0 advantage. Looking for another double-digit scoring output today. Would be the second of the year. Their 9 goals today tie the Kenyon game for the second most this season. And Ferrum takes the cake, a 14-0 decision the last time we saw this team on this field. And Lynchburg, before that loss to Keene on the road, it built up a 10-game win streak. That was the longest since the COVID season that was played in the spring of 2021, which Lynchburg went a perfect 10-0. It was conference games only. So you don't want to say you put an asterisk on it, but certainly not quite the same grueling schedule Lynchburg has had this year. Just a quick 10 games. The regular season slate was shorter than that. But then they did win the first game of the 2021 campaign, so it really was an 11-game win streak. That's the longest in recent memory, but now Lynchburg looking to build up another little streak. Win today would be 3 in a row. Hornets trying to feed it ahead to Rowe. Instead, broken up by EMU. Kyla Ross, the first-year defender out of Fredericksburg, Virginia. Breaks it up for EMU, sends it the other way. It is still the Royals with possession, trying to work it ahead, but before it really crosses that half line, it is sent back the other way by Sar Prince. Contact between Kate Landis and Aurora Balsamo. No foul called. Wrong place, wrong time there for the two of them. Certainly incidental. Olivia Van Meter waiting to come back in for Lynchburg. Talk about getting hot at the right time. She's put together a fantastic second half of the season. 6 goals coming into today. Eve Detter's about to enter again for EMU. Third quarter going by quickly. 5:41 to go in this third frame. On the ground trying to recorral that one was Mark. That's Madison Mark. Lynchburg is awarded possession at the end. Firing it back up and ahead. Wide to the near side. It is still Aruda in goal for EMU. A quick survey of the sideline. Looks like Aruda the only goalkeeper on hand today. Annika Thompson, another goalkeeper listed on the roster. Don't see anybody else suited up in that neon jersey. Hornets have got the best of Aruda more often than not in this second half. 3 goals, Aruda no saves. So the defensive side for EMU starting to break down a bit in this 9-0 hole. We've seen, on this home field especially, and Lynchburg gets the ball rolling. Metaphorically, of course, it has a tendency to snowball a bit. When you think about the Kenyon game, the Ferrum game, and now today as well. Lynchburg, one of the higher scoring teams in the country at 4 a game on the nose coming into today. That average is going to go up. And then we'll talk about that, that time of possession stat I made up for myself just to conceptualize things a little bit. Percentage of shots taken. Lynchburg easily dominating that as well. It's 36 shots for Lynchburg. They're nearly 3/4 complete today. Courtney Crawford looks to reinsert for EMU. It's broken up, sent the other way by Lynchburg. EMU gets their bearings, tries to recollect it. Sydney Rowe takes it away from Ashley Maldonado. Back and forth we go as Landis forces it back the other way. After applying a little early pressure in the third quarter, it's been EMU playing more often than not with their backs against the wall again in the third frame today. Credit to interim head coach Justina Kishorn's club today. Continued to fight, continued to be aggressive, especially defensively. Haven't had a whole lot of breaks go their way, and they're going up against a very talented Lynchburg team with a great mix of young talent and experienced veteran leadership. Pretty much everything has come up Lynchburg today on a special Senior Day homecoming joint celebration for, I'll go ahead and say it, one of the best teams, at least by the eye test, but record would tend to agree, one of the best teams we have seen put on the field from Coach Steele. Fantastic 45-year career. You think about resume, we mentioned some of those things that start to matter now. I mean, obviously Lynchburg has had these dominant games, also a 4-0 win on the road at Lebanon Valley, a road win over a talented Dickinson team. Some gritty wins as well, 1-0 over Mary Washington in a hard-fought battle right on this field, 2-1, a game they really had to earn late over Randolph-Macon. And a win, neutral site over York, kept a blank sheet against a top 10 team. York has remained in the top 10 this year in the polls. Road wins at Shenandoah, road wins at Washington and Lee. The Shenandoah decision 2-1 in overtime. And, more often, important than that, throw in the Swarthmore result as well, and then a 3-1 win over a solid Roanoke team on the road as well. But more important than that, too, they've taken care of business in the games they should take care of business in. Discussions going into that road stand this past weekend was you definitely want to be 2-1, and you want to win at least one of those 2 weekend games, top 25 opportunities. Certainly, at best case, you want to be 3-0 through that stretch, but everybody knows playing on the road can be a little tricky sometimes, and playing 3 really, really solid teams. Lynchburg, I tend to say take care of business. Can't play Keene much closer than they did. As we start to wind down on the third quarter, 30 seconds remaining in period number 3. Lynchburg has tacked on 3 more goals. They lead at 9-0. Looking for the 8th shutout of the year. Would be yet another joint shutout between Kayla Brady and Samira Garavi. If it stands, still got 15 minutes to go, but through 3 quarters complete, Lynchburg keeping their opponents off the board and well on their way to a 7-0 start to conference play. We're into the big time of this season and Lynchburg looking as sharp as they have all year. We'll take one more break and be back in just a moment. Fourth quarter on tap. Take a look there at the fearless leader of this Hornet team, head coach Enza Steele, year 45, 659 wins and counting. 660 is just 15 minutes away for a coach that has as many 20-win seasons as losing seasons in her 45 years as the head coach here. And keep in mind, folks, they only play 19 regular season games. So a heck of a stat for a heck of a coach. Enza Steele, the all-time winningest coach in Division III field hockey history, the third winningest coach across all divisions. She passed head coach Sharon Pfluger at the College of New Jersey earlier this year. Pfluger at 657, Coach Steele at 659. A legend of a coach, and again, looking to put a cap on that fantastic career. There's a lot more business to be attended to this year. Lynchburg, you know, it's funny, you talk to any of these players throughout the year and you always try to get them to talk about maybe the NCAAs a little bit, looking down the road. All they want to talk about is ODACs, keeping their eyes on what is first at hand, you know, winning the games on the schedule and then turning to that ODAC championship game, a chip on the old shoulder, as they say, after a tough overtime defeat to Washington and Lee on the road a season ago. Lynchburg, again, they have run right through this conference schedule, a 7-0 start. If this score holds, 6-0 coming into today. Already handled their business against 4 of the top 5 teams in the preseason coaches poll. Lynchburg was the preseason number 1, but it was tight at the top. Lynchburg, Washington and Lee, Shenandoah, respectively, were your top 3. They were each separated by a total of 2 points. 1 point between Lynchburg and WNL, 1 point between WNL and Shenandoah. But Lynchburg has come out here this year and certainly proved a point, just shown, you know, this is our year, and there's a lot more business to be handled. Quite a few very solid teams in the conference. Roanoke, Shenandoah, Washington and Lee. Bridgewater's had a solid year as well. Bridgewater, the Eagles, still on the schedule for Lynchburg. We don't want to throw out Randolph-Macon either. I mean, teams that have given Lynchburg some trouble. I don't want to say they've just put their head down and dominated everyone. That has not been the case, but taking care of business at home, and really done a great job on the road. Just one loss in either neutral site or away games. And they haven't played a top 25 team here. They played 4 top 25 teams on the year, none of them on Schellenberger Field. That may change in the postseason. I mentioned Shenandoah ranked 16th. Don't imagine them dropping out. They've had a fantastic year in their own right. If you look at the statistics, I mean, not a whole lot of difference between them and Lynchburg. And obviously they're regular season game. Took extra time to decide a winner. Anna Dorestein nailed the game-winning goal in that one. And even though the rankings may not back it up, it was a slower start to the year for Washington and Lee, but they've started to figure things out. And I mean, we'd be remiss not to mention them and to leave them out of this conversation. They were the number 2 preseason team in the conference for a reason, the defending conference champs. Let's not act like it would be any small feat to get past the Generals if they were to be drawn in postseason play either. Lynchburg, with 3 minutes gone by in the fourth, will set up for its first penalty corner of this final quarter. Hornets 3 goals on 3 shots on goal. In the third, it's Kessa Schaefer that gets it first, swings it over to Marlu Vendrick. Shot by Jenna Tangiers is sent the other way. Another shot lined up, and that is that sweet, sweet sound of ball meeting back of cage. Looked like Brooke Highland firing one in there. Senior Day festivities continue, and Lynchburg on top by double digits. For the second time this year, Lynchburg reaches 10 goals. And it is celebratory time as Lynchburg, 11 and a half minutes from wrapping up the home slate with just 1 loss on the resume, and that was the home opener. Since then, they've been perfect. It'll be 7 straight wins at home. And Shelley's been good, like I said earlier, to all these fall sports, but this field hockey team especially. Brooke Highland has her 4th goal of the year. Great ball, feet ahead from Mizizzi. Tracking it down was Ndwadney, and then a good defensive play by Courtney Crawford. Sends it out of bounds, so it'll stay with Lynchburg, but broke up a little bit of the Hornets' momentum. Looking for Highland was Ndwadney, senior to senior. It's taken away by Cassidy Armstrong. Armstrong whips that one ahead. It's broken up initially by Cameron, but more so just deflected off of the old shin guard and out of bounds. Juan Fordner certainly, have to imagine, probably pretty happy she's got those shin guards on. That feet ahead had some heat on it. Looking to flip the field there, and successfully doing so was Armstrong. Now trying to do it again, breaking on the ball is Ndwadney. Works it back over near side to Highland. Highland trying to perform the balancing act along the sideline. Her pass, a little too much mustard on it, unable to be tracked down by Vendricks. Near side, Morgan Leslie has her pocket picked by Ndwadney. As Lynchburg looks to close the door on its 13th consecutive regular season ODAC victory. Flip the field to the far side. Lynchburg maintains possession, working it back into the backfield, corralled by Renee Funtil. It's Funtil, Wine Fordner, and Olivia Muir, the backfield for Lynchburg right now. Riley Cameron getting a spell on the bench, a little bit of time to rest. Mizizzi working sort of that flex position, center of the field. She whips one into the circle. It was blocked by Aruda. She has 18 saves on the day. That will not go down as one. Shot coming from well outside the circle. Mizizzi was at about the R or the G in Lynchburg at the center of the field. And to continue our squad who's on the field right now, Micah Uchis, Marina Ndwadney, Kessa Schaefer, Marlu Vendricks, Jenna Tangiers, and Brooke Highland. So a lot of seniors back on the field. to close things down in the fourth quarter. Waiting to come in for Eastern Mennonite, EMU, is Kristen Anderson. And she will come in now, checks in for Morgan Leslie. And take another time to highlight, too, I mean, the perks that come with having the depth of roster that Lynchburg does. And I don't just mean from a talent perspective, and just when it comes to keeping fresh legs. Lynchburg's all year long been able to rotate who's in the game, and that comes in a big way when you look at, 3 different times this year Lynchburg's played on back-to-back days. It's really important to have those fresh legs. Obviously, some of these stalwarts, Kayla Brady, Riley Cameron, Kanye Mazizi, Aaron Boatwright, Marlu Vendricks, they spend a lot more time in the game than they do on the sideline, but still a nice perk to be able to rotate those bodies in and out. Keep everybody fresh as best you can. Boatwright checks back in now for Lynchburg. Brooke Highland heads to the bench. Next up to come in will be Danielle Kuhn. As the clock ticks, under 7 minutes to go in the game. Lynchburg has reached that 10-goal plateau. Certainly seeming to take their foot off the gas just a tad here in the fourth quarter. Like they did against Ferrum, just doing the majority of their damage in that first quarter. 6 goals against the Panthers, 5 goals today against the Royals in those first quarters. And joining Kuhn coming in will be Mallory Lamb, will be Riley Cameron, will be Allie Freeman. Kanye Mazizi checks out. Allie Freeman back in. Imagine that's probably the end of the day for Mazizi. Did not tack on another goal today as that one got swapped over to Sydney Metz. First goal of the season for Metz. Special moment for her. Had several of those types of moments here today. Aaron Boatwright, from an offensive perspective, the big story with 3 goals on the day. The first hat trick this season for Lynchburg. Cameron hits the turf, trying to break that one up and poke the ball away from Ainsley Clark for EMU. That play will draw a penalty corner for Lynchburg. It also drew a big round of applause from the Lynchburg sideline. They like the effort there from Riley Cameron. She dusts herself off. Aaron Boatwright will send in the corner for Lynchburg, the insert. Boatwright comes into Tangiers. Now it's back with Boatwright. Out of the goal is Aruda. Good job defensively taking up residence in that goal. Looked like Riley Ann Collins. Aruda stepped out to guard that first shot, and then Collins slid in behind her. Did a great job protecting the goal. Might have racked up a defensive save or 2 on that sequence. Quickly, Marlu Vendricks has it. This could be trouble. She's just slightly off the mark again. This Vendricks, a tough day today continues. Lynchburg, of course, has been just fine on the offensive side with 10 goals. But, again, when you're at the level of Marlu Vendricks, offensively speaking, certainly hard to see those shots kind of come up short, but very confident player. Another one this time off the mark to the opposite side of the goal. She's been just wayward throughout the day today. Encouragement coming in from the sidelines for Lynchburg from Marlu Vendricks. Beautiful thing to see, though, not any visible signs of frustration. A lot of that's probably just due to the overall score. I mean, at the end of the day, all these players want a team win more than anything.
Let's go, 8! Yeah! Number 8, head tap.
Flip the field to the left side. It will stay, though, Stay with EMU, be reset by Ainsley Clark. A couple fresh faces into the game for EMU here towards the end as well. 3.5 minutes to go. 10-0 Lynchburg lead. Hornets have flirted with the top 10 in the country for the last several weeks. Haven't quite cracked it. Wonder maybe with a win over Keene, you have to figure they probably would have gotten in. That top 10's pretty much been rock solid throughout the year. Lynchburg does have that win over York, sort of their big marquee win on the year. York's just remained in the top 10 all year long. One of the best seasons in program history for the Spartans this year. Shout out to them. It was a fun game. Cross town at Sweetbriar. The chance to take LHS in on the road as Aruda makes a save on the Funtil shot. Tangiers crosses the semicircle to track down the rebound, but it's eventually rolls out of bounds, and it'll stay with Lynchburg. Cameron and Boatwright both running over to send it back in. It will be Boatwright. As the clock rolls towards 3 p.m. on the day, this one will finish up just before 3. And, of course, Lynchburg women's soccer will take the field right about an hour after this one wraps up, right at or shortly after 4 p.m. They're right in the thick of the race for the top seed in the ODAC tournament as well. And then the men's soccer team will play at 7 p.m. And they are also in the thick of it to claim the ODAC's top seed as we wind things down across the back half of October. Rubber truly meets the road, and see what everybody's made of. Lynchburg's enjoying a great fall season. We've had 4 teams, well, really 5 in and out of national rankings this year. Equestrian, field hockey, men's soccer, and each of the cross-country teams. Both cross-country teams currently enjoying top 10 rankings in the country, and then this field hockey team ranked 12th. Equestrian ranked number 1, 2-time defending national champs. Lynchburg going to tie a bow on this one with just under a minute and a half to go. We will look through the remaining schedule first for Lynchburg. It'll be a pair of road games to wrap things up. Pair of night games. Haven't had a whole lot of those this year. Only 3 evening games so far, but October 25th, midweek action against Sweetbriar, and then October 27th, next Friday, Lynchburg will take on Bridgewater for the regular season finale. That one could have some big implications depending on what happens with those 2 teams. Bridgewater just 2 conference losses as of right now. And then turning over and looking at what EMU's got the rest of the way. As Lynchburg gets ready to take this penalty corner, it'll be 2 games on the EMU turf field. 1 against Ferrum and 1 against Washington and Lee. As that penalty corner results in a Riley Cameron shot. It's off the mark. And with 45 seconds to go, Lynchburg going to try to keep it on this side of the field, wrap up not only the win, but another shutout win, 8th of the year. EMU is going to take possession, but they're going to have a long way to go and only 25 seconds to do it. They want to try to beat Garavi and get on the board. Based on how the day's gone so far, this Lynchburg defense, midfield, attack, it's been a cohesive unit once again. And Lynchburg going to wrap up what looks like a 50-0 shot disparity. 50 shots today is the most this season for Lynchburg. And they will have the final horn sound. Lynchburg improves to 7-0. They stay perfect in conference play. The 8th shutout victory of the year, 13 straight regular season ODAC victories. We could go all day long with this stuff, but we'll just summarize it as simply as this. Lynchburg gets another big win on senior day, on homecoming, and sets the stage for a Lynchburg sports triple header on Schellenberger Field. They get the ball off and rolling on a big way with a 10-0 win over EMU. That is your final. I have been Sam Graham. We won't hold you for too much longer because we got to get Evan Gates in here getting ready for some women's soccer action in just about an hour from now. So we will sign off for the final time in the regular season, and we hope to see you soon on the field hockey field 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 more times. But until then, I'm Sam Graham, wishing you a good afternoon, a happy homecoming. God bless, and go Bird.